Oh, welcome one. Welcome all to the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, maybe even poke a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course hearing about how fantastic overheating is in Toyotas, then this may be the podcast for you.
Still had to take a breath in the middle.
I can't do it without not taking a breath. Anyways, we are here. Thursday episode. Got a lot of fun for you guys. And in the studio for all of that fun, once again, is Mr. Jimmy Jett. That guy right over there. How you doing, man?
Good. I am doing very well. I do have some
Hold on. Sorry. Are you good or are you well?
Yes. No, I'm good. I am unwell.
You're unwell?
That was going to be my itty bitty news.
What is that song? I'm not good, but I'm not well.
I don't know. I've got friends in low places, though.
I'm not well. Anyways, okay.
Can I tell you my itty bitty news?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a gout flare up.
Do you really?
I do.
You haven't been hobbling around.
I know. It's not, at the moment, it's not bad, but yeah, it's been, I think Ireland caught up with me.
Oh, fine. Yeah. I was wondering how that was going to work if you guys are going on a drinking vacation in Ireland. And
it hasn't been good the last few days.
Brian, we need another Jimmy Crystals meme, just FYI.
Yeah, please.
Can we please get one? Yep. Thank you.
Speaking of that, I have an idea for a sticker, but I don't want to say it because I want to create it and I don't want somebody to steal it. So,
okay.
But yeah, maybe Brian, I'll be reaching out to you and we could figure something out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's been like, I've been home for like a week or so.
Yeah.
And so I kind of was like, what happened? Like, what did I do in the last few days that would have caused this? And I can't think of anything. Like, I really haven't been drinking. The only thing I could sort of think about or think that might be it is that I've been dehydrated lately. I just haven't been drinking a lot of water.
Okay.
And otherwise, I'm like, it's probably Ireland. It's probably the amount of drinking I did in Ireland. So I had a fantastic trip and now I'm paying for it.
Wow.
In more than one way.
Yeah.
The credit card and my right big toe.
Your big toe.
Yeah.
It was your big toe last time, wasn't it?
It's typically the big toe.
Yeah.
Is where it starts. And if you get it really bad, then it'll move up to your ankle.
Okay.
And then I think if you get it worse, it moves up. It continues to work its way up the body.
Wow.
But yeah, it's been years since I had a flare up and now here I am starting over in a way.
Was Dylan with you in Ireland?
No, no Dylan in Ireland. Okay. Thank goodness.
It would have been at your knee then.
Probably. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so I've been icing it, which it just only temporarily helps, and elevating it, which helps whenever it's elevated. But yeah, it still works. Actually, it's at the moment it's feeling a little better, but
nice. Well, no matter how much gout you have, your chin looks very supple today.
Thank you. So. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I get paid to say that each time. Do
you?
No.
Oh, you should.
I take some out of their paycheck though.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my news. I'm still, I'm going to try to sit down with the assistant the day this is released to try and record our story of Ireland and what we did.
Well, if you don't sit down and talk with her verbally, I'm just going to go read her blog.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, you should. Well, she has been posting at the moment. She's posting day by day photos and a very small snippet on Facebook.
Okay.
She doesn't really use Instagram.
Yeah.
And and so she literally, while we were in Ireland, was keeping like a diary of what we were doing. So I'm kind of like, babe, like, let's be travel bloggers. Like you're already doing it.
Yeah.
I can create videos or do podcasts about it. And let's just go on more trips. And she's like, that sounds like work. I'm like, you're doing half of the work already.
Yeah, you're already doing it.
You're already doing it.
You're not getting paid for it.
Yeah. Let's just continue to do it. And then we might get paid to do it. Who knows? Yeah. So who knows? Maybe there'll be another podcast out there with the assistant and Jimmy travel or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
AJ travels.
There you go. That'll be fun. So I'm still kind of looking forward. I want to learn more about some of the history of Ireland. I know that there's, what was that dude's name? The main guy, like their first kind of semi-ruler guy.
Like way back in the day?
Way back in the
I
day
have no
before England took them over. Anyways, so
Braveheart.
That's who it was. Yeah. It was
That's
somebody
Scotland. Never mind.
It was somebody in Aoife. Aoife and oh my God, I'm blanking on the name now. Like there's a bunch of towns named after him, a few castles, blah, blah. Anyways, whatever.
Bali? Because there's a Bali everywhere. Bali Seed Castle, Bali Fair. There's a Bali something, and I gave Bali up.
I was gonna say that's what I thought you were going to. Is when you talk about Bali?
No, there really is. There's it's spelled differently than the way I spelled mine. But there was a Bali everywhere.
Okay.
Like if you had to go to like Bali Castle, there's like 40 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that was one of the things that one of the bartenders said. It's like, don't follow Google. It's not going to tell you exactly where you need to go. And if you're searching for whatever Bali, then it's going to tell you the wrong spot.
Okay. Nice. So not Bali. I forget what it is, but it's going to come to me halfway through this episode. But yeah, so you got back from Ireland. You got some gout.
I did.
And you're heading off to Tennessee.
I am. That's exciting news.
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Thank you.
Yes, that one. Tennessee.
Yeah, so you're heading off to Tennessee next week.
Yeah. For some Ford content.
What?
Yeah, so weird.
Are you driving a Ford out there? What do you?
I will be. Well, actually, I don't know if I will be. So I've got our good friend. He's actually done some more Flake content for you guys, and he's a personal friend of mine, Blake from Blake's Garage. Somehow got onto the like sign up sheet to go help and market content for Ford.
Nice.
And so he went.
Isn't he like into old school Mercedes stuff?
No, Beamers.
BMWs. That's what it was. Same thing.
Yeah,
BMW,
started
Mercedes.
with Subaru, moved his channel to Beamers, and now got it must be an early 5th gen 4Runner.
Okay.
Because it's slightly different body style than the current 5th gen 4Runners. Okay. And so now he's kind of doing off-road Toyota content.
All right.
So I'm like, hey, buddy, get out of my lane.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he got into doing some Ford things somehow and went to Detroit to record a video and some content for the Ford Maverick.
Okay.
And so he's on this list. So now they contacted him for the Bronco Sport.
Okay.
And so I guess a new Bronco Sport's coming out.
Dude, little baby's Bronco.
Yeah, little baby Bronco. Doesn't even have 4 low. So anyways, on the form to go to the event, he's allowed to take a videographer. And so he contacted me and he's like, hey, you want to go to Tennessee and sit in a Bronco Sport and be my videographer?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. All expenses paid.
Nice.
Yeah. I believe for the most part. I think the only thing I might have to pay for I'm not sure quite how to solve the problem, is parking at the airport.
Oh,
because my entire family's out of town and the assistant will be working. And then so I'm like, I'm all alone. I don't know how to get to the airport.
My house is 5 minutes from the airport.
Yeah, drive to your house and then Uber,
or I can take you if you're depending what time you're leaving. Or
then you'd have to pick me up. So and we'll talk about that off air maybe. But yeah, so I'll drive to the airport, leave my car. It looks like they had us signed up for 1 night stay at a hotel. And so we'd fly there. It takes all day to fly there. Then we do the event like noonish, and then we fly out at like 4.
Okay.
And fly home. And Blake and I were like, man, that's really rushed to fly across the country.
Yeah.
So we're asking to stay another night.
Okay.
We'll see if that happens. But they're paying for the hotel.
Nice.
They're paying for the flights.
Yeah.
They're paying for the event, everything. So
nice.
It's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, we're going to look at the Bronco Sport and do some content about it. Probably all for Blake's channel. I'll probably shoot videos and stuff for SnailTrail4x4 just for the fun of it. But I'm not going to be able to talk about any of the content that we do until I think August 26th.
Okay.
I think that's their release date.
All right.
So as soon as I believe that's it, but whenever the actual formal release date is, then I can talk about everything we saw and did, and it show any of the content or photos and everything that we took.
So does that mean you're going to have a secret now for a couple weeks that you can't tell us about?
Hey, Tyler.
Hey, Jimmy, what's up?
I got a secret.
Yeah, what is it?
I can't tell you.
Why not?
Because I've maybe signed an NDA.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. It's not the like highlighted vehicle I would choose.
Yeah.
But as a content creator, it's going to be a lot of fun to go and attend.
What I think is really cool about it is it sounds like once you get on this list with Ford, they're going to keep reaching out to you as long as you don't fuck it up, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So even though you're really going to be kind of reviewing a Subaru, you're going to get called back for other stuff, I think, from Ford.
Yeah.
So
I think this one at least has a frame.
Oh, the Bronco Sports? I thought they were...
Are they unibody?
I thought they were unibody.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just learned that the Maverick is unibody.
Yep.
I didn't know that either.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like, oh, it's a truck. Nope.
Nope.
It's a Subaru with a bed. So it's like a Brat.
Yeah, it's a Brat. Yeah.
But yeah, so, and it's IRS too. I didn't know that.
The Maverick?
Or at least the new one is.
Mm-hmm. The new Maverick is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So I'm going to learn a bunch of stuff about the Bronco Sport.
Nice.
And you have an employee that actually has one. So I'm going to...
We make fun of him for it. So.
I'm good. I'm glad. But I'm going to talk to him and find out like key features that he likes or dislikes.
Oh, yeah.
And then look at the new one and see if any of those features are still there or if they've updated the ones that are bad and figure that out. I've ever so slightly got to talk to him today and he was like, did they put 4-wheel drive in it? And I was like, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure there's some other things that will be different and upgraded. That will be great. That I will be able to talk about when that time is right.
Nice.
And I'm not holding a secret from you.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. That'll be next week. So next week might be a little random for podcast land. We're trying, it's such a spur of the moment trip.
Yeah.
We kind of didn't have a whole lot scheduled or planned. We're going to try to rearrange our schedules to keep the podcast flowing smoothly. But yeah, you might need to bear with us. We might be off a day or so.
Yeah. But we'll get it worked out and figured out for everybody. So if for some reason, one way or another, we'll put out like a 5-minute blurb. If we can't get an episode together, we'll put out a 5-minute blurb. Hey, sorry, Jimmy's got spurred at this moment opportunity. So that's what's going on. And we'll talk to you guys next episode or whatever. But we'll figure something out. We have a couple of things that we have in the works. It's just a matter of if we can pull it together on short notice. So
absolutely.
Yeah. But anyways, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's worth missing an episode if we have to.
Yeah, that's gonna it'll be I mean, I think me attending and the adventure and all that is gonna be actually better content than the actual vehicle.
Yeah. No way. Bronco Sports are great, man.
Yeah. I don't. Well, I hope so, and I am looking forward to telling everybody about it.
Yeah. Well, cool. That'll be fun. I'm excited to hear about it. So.
Yeah. I think it'll be a really good time.
Yeah.
If not, I'm gonna get to hang out with a buddy. So
cool.
It can't be bad.
There you go.
Yeah.
You get to go out of state and travel with Blake.
Yeah.
So that would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Mountain Man lookalike, I guess.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
For being an electrician, he sure has a lot of hair.
Yeah. We'll have to do that. It's insulation from getting electrified.
Yeah, right.
Electrocuted.
I did tell him today. I was like, man, you are a licensed electrician. Why are you not doing EV vehicles on your channel?
Yeah.
Like you actually understand that and can talk about it and have a knowledge of how to put everything together. And he's like, I don't know. Like this, like you are one of the most qualified people to actually talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, he should. I didn't realize he was an electrician.
Yeah.
By trade. So
at a well-known school in the area. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell, but
all right,
a bigger school out here.
You signed an NDA with the school? Or with
I don't know if he wants everybody to know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got another secret to tell you.
That's cool. No, that's going to be a really fun trip. I'm excited to hear about it. We do have an episode lined up for you guys on Monday before Jimmy takes off. So that's all set, ready to go. It's a really fun episode. It's got some really, I think, cool content that you guys are going to enjoy.
Wild content.
Yeah. So we got that all set, squared away. We've got, I think, next Thursday figured out as well.
I think so.
One or the other. And then the question is going to be next Monday's episode. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, we have a couple ideas. It's a matter of what we can pull together for you guys. This episode, though, is Thursday. Jimmy and I have been up to some fun things. We have some giveaways going on. We have some birthdays, some FNGs to announce. We have a giveaway wiener to talk about because Jimmy loves talking about wieners.
I do.
So
actually, you do. You are way
it's
more.
Weird. It's definitely.
It's so much more of a wiener person. You can't deny it.
No, I can't. And I was gonna. So you know those little magnetic penises I have, the dicks.
See, it's exactly what I'm talking about. You know how many of those I have?
How many?
I had 0, as far as I know, unless there's some stuck somewhere that I have no idea.
Anyways, so Dolly, I got those. I get those magnetic dicks from Dolly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got introduced to them from Dolly.
Got it.
She gets them from a friend of hers.
Okay.
3D printed. She does the magnets, everything.
Does Lee do it?
He probably should if he doesn't.
Yeah. He did the valve stem caps.
Yeah. I don't know if he has those for sale though, or if those are just special request.
I don't know.
Anyways,
so much cock around here.
There's a lot in this warehouse. So anyways, I was told that the lady that makes these, Wolf, I think it's Wolf Industries, she has glow in the dark penis ones.
Oh.
So I ordered 100 of them. And I've been putting them on people's vehicles without telling them. And I got away with it for about 4 days before everybody figured out it was me.
Nice.
Everybody kept asking each other, where'd these come from?
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting in the back.
Well, that means I have one on my vehicle that I don't even know where it is.
Baby, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to go searching.
Yep.
Did you ever, I want to say that there's still a penis hidden in the Tacoma somewhere that I don't think you have found yet.
Probably not.
I think I remember where it is. I don't remember if it was just a sticker or if it was something else.
Okay.
So I might have to have you just stay in the warehouse while I go look for it real quick and see if it's still there.
Last week when I was here, there was 2 broken zip ties underneath my truck.
On your drive shaft?
No.
Oh.
There. I looked on the drive shaft and I looked on my front axle shaft. No zip ties anywhere. There was just 2 broken ones laying on the ground.
Oh.
And I was like, what happened? What did they do? What is going on here?
We had the owner of Crave Automotive, which is Morflate's dealer for Canada.
Okay.
He happened to be down in the Sacramento area with his Tundra.
Okay.
That he has kind of kitted out for overlanding. And
he showed up. Did he show up when I was here?
I think so.
Yeah.
Really cool dude. Super down to earth. I love the way he runs the business there at Crave. But he was talking with me and Ozzy in the office. And before I said, oh, hold on a second, I got to go tell the guys to make sure they have their work plan for the day. And so while Ozzy was talking to him in the office, I ran out and I pulled our sheet of stickers of dicks, and I gave it to the employees. I said, cover Crave's Ville's truck in penises. And then I came back and I was like, all right, they're all set for the day. And so we started chatting about different things, and he started finding them on his way home, his trip home, and kept texting us pictures of the ones that he kept finding. It was fun.
Gnarly.
Anyway, so long tangent about some of the fun things that you have to watch out on your vehicle if you come to Morflate.
Yes.
But we do have winners, all sorts of fun things going on all the time here on the podcast. So we're going to go into and announce some of those today and right now.
Let's do it.
All right.
Where are we starting?
Let's start with the July's giveaway, shall we?
Sure.
Sounds good. Snail Squad giveaway.
We are giving away an EVCX from Ultimate 9.
Yep.
But you were saying, off air, I think you said something cool about Ultimate 9 that they were doing. Was that not? Did I miss that?
I did do some cool stuff for sure.
What was it? Like now you're making me second guess. I don't remember.
I don't like the throttle controllers do, that Ultimate 9 as a company is doing. They're live on the website. Okay. Yeah,
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Anyways, okay. Maybe it'll come to you halfway through the episode, like my thing. I'm going to be remembering here soon.
Bali.
My Bali, yeah. But we have an EVCX, so it's the Bluetooth app-controlled one, or you can control it from the package interface on your dashboard if you want. But these are laid out for almost any American car out there. Cool. They fit a huge, wide variety of them, and they are live on the Morphlite website now.
Oh, great. Okay.
There's just one little hiccup. Oh, we tried to make it as easy to shop as possible. So when you go to the Ultimate 9 page on the website, there's a year, make, model lookup. Yeah, that shows up at the top of the page, and you just put in the year, make, and model of your vehicle. Yes, and it'll give you the throttle controller that matches your vehicle. Yeah, that makes sense. Except the year, make, model software is not working correctly. Oh, so all of the vehicle compatibility charts are listed on each product page, though. So if you go to the search bar at the top of the Morphlite website, you can type in your model and make and model of your vehicle, and it should pop up the throttle controllers that match those. Got it. So if I typed in Toyota Tacoma, it will come up with first, second, and third gen versions for the Toyota Tacomas. Exactly. And then you choose whichever one you need. Yep. So I think for the Tacoma, it comes up with 2 different SKUs. So you just have to go into each one and find whether you need the first, second gen, whatever, third gens. So I wonder if it's first gen and then second and third gen. It's the first gens are not drive-by-wire. Oh. So yeah, I believe it's just it was the second gen drive-by-wire? Yes. I'm assuming it would be. I would imagine it would too. Second and third gen. Yeah. Most of all the drive-wire stuff started about year 2000. Right. So pretty much if you have a vehicle older than year 2000, you can't really use an throttle controllers with them. So there was no 3.4s with a drive-by-wire? Nope. Interesting. Yeah. Because those did go into 2004. Yeah. That's why I was kind of like, and I know that the 4-liter V6, I don't know if that was drive-by-wire. Oh. Well, I know that Toyota is kind of they're kind of renowned for being a little bit outdated on technology, but I just don't know. I'd have to check our vehicle compatibility charts. Right. If our year, make, model lookup was working, then I could look it up real quick and easy for you guys. Well, you could just type in Toyota Tacoma. I know I could. It would be that easy. I'm lazy. Yes, that's also true. So we have one of these to give away to a lucky winner. Mm-hmm. If you happen to win an EVCX, you just have to tell us the year, make, and model of your vehicle, and they'll get one out to you. Yep. And if you don't win one, you still want to get one, just call the Morphlite customer service line, email us, whatever. And Sean, MF or Sean, will be able to get you guys all set up with exactly what matches your vehicle. He'll do all the work for you. So nice. Perfect. We have a winner of this, though. We do indeed. It is. Wait, funny story about the winner. Okay. Morphlite Ryan was in the studio and I was finishing up doing the layout, and I got the random number generator out there, and I was tapping away at the random number generator, and I said it, and you were on the phone or something. Okay. And I said, hey, Ryan, tell me when to stop. And I'm tapping. And it felt like forever. Like I was just like, come on, man. Do you just have that like awkward love stare at each other? Yeah. Right. Like, when is this? Like, hey, anytime now. Like, it's about time. It's been going too long. And then he said, stop, finally. And then it happened to be number 1. From the random number. The random number generator that we normally use? Yes. Have we ever gotten number 1 to pop up? I don't think I've ever seen it stopped, whether for the winner or like in all the random the tapping that I do. Tell me when to stop. I don't think I've ever seen number 1 stop. I don't think I have either. Yeah. So okay, who is number 1 on the list? I'm number 1. No, okay. No, you're not. Aaron. Aaron. Is it double A's? Yeah, double A's. Aaron. Aaron Little. Yep. Aaron Little. Congratulations. Little. You are number 1. You are number 1, sir. And we have an EVCX throttle controller from Ultimate 9 here for you. So like Jimmy said, just we'll reach out to you to make sure that you do get this. But if you don't hear from us by the time you hear this episode, reach out to us as well. And just let us know the year, make, model of the vehicle you want it for. Has to be a drive-by-wire vehicle, and we'll send one out to you. So. What's the Morphlite phone number? 916-696-7738. All right. Just call that and tell Sean you won, Yeah.
and see if he gets totally confused.
I don't think he will. Sean's usually pretty up to date on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bummer.
I know.
Because that could have been fun.
Yeah. I need my EVCX.
Yeah.
Sean would probably, he's such a nice dude. He'd probably just be like, okay, yeah, let's get you set up.
Let's do it.
But yeah.
Now it's going to be a battle between Aaron and Sean to see who listens to the episode first.
I think Sean would win. I don't know.
Probably.
I know Aaron listens a lot too. I'm pretty sure if this is the correct Aaron, we talk fairly often on Instagram.
Yeah. Maybe. He's semi-local to us.
Yeah. Okay.
He's Central Valley.
Central Valley? Ugh.
Well, Central Valley coast.
Oh, okay. That's
coastal Central Valley.
That's better. All right.
Not quite Santa Cruz, not quite Monterey, but more inland.
Okay. Is that like Hollister Hills?
What general area?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Congratulations, Aaron.
Try not to give his location away.
Okay. Congrats, man. We got the throttle controller for you. Just reach out. We'll get you set up for that. We have some birthdays.
We do.
And
indeed.
no FNGs.
No FNGs.
Because y'all are lame.
Weird. I mean, we haven't really been promoting it.
Yeah, that's true.
We just talk about our monthly giveaways.
Yeah.
But while you're pulling that up, I'll just say, if you're interested in getting some of the giveaways or becoming a $5 member, which gives you access to the Snail Squad forums on iRate4x4, you can do that over on iRate4x4.com. Just go down to the watch list and discuss section.
Ooh, the section?
Section.
Hey.
Section. And click on SnailTrail4x4. And then you can enter yourself to possibly win a giveaway item or just become a monthly subscriber on the forum and get some of the backdoor action.
The backdoor action with the section that we have.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So what were we doing? You have me all distracted now. Birthdays. All right.
No 1 years. I know that much.
0 1 years.
0 1 years.
Yep.
0 FNGs.
Yep. 0 1 year, 0 FNGs. 2 years. We have 1.
Woo. Who is it?
I don't even know how to pronounce this. Geoffrey. No, it's definitely spelled. It's definitely spelled Geoffrey. Yeah, Geoffrey Hamilton.
Okay.
So
Jeffrey Hamilton.
Geoffrey Hamilton.
Thank you, Geoffrey Hamilton, for your 2 years support.
2 years support. Thank you, sir. 3 years support. We have Austin Garrad.
Thank you very much. 3 years.
He has a rolling R. There's like 3 R's in his name. That's weird.
Yeah. Wow. South American.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I just had it. I was like, wait a minute. This is deja vu right now. Anyways. All right. 4-year birthday. Do you want to explain that? Or are we just going to let that go? Jimmy and I fucked up recording earlier. And we talked about this and had this whole talk about South America, Chichen Itza, Machu Picchu. And I totally forgot all about it until just now. And I was like, wait a minute. This sounds familiar. Then we messed up the recording. Had to just ditch that recording and start all over.
This is one of the few times we've actually ever started over.
Yeah. Anyways, fun times. Jimmy and I are laughing at it. Everybody out there is like, yeah, we don't care.
We're laughing at ourselves. Yes. Is what's going on.
Oh, man.
All right. 4 years.
4 years. We have 3.
3 of them. Sweet.
Ooh, these are good ones too.
Oh, yeah?
Uncle Pool.
Mr. Pool Noodle. Thank you very much.
He thought I was dead.
Me too.
Yeah. You thought I was dead?
Well, you almost died.
I did almost die. But he literally tried to come into my camper thinking I was dead. He goes, I don't know if you were dead or just sleeping. The guys just said you might be dead. So I was like, oh.
Well, thank you for checking on him.
I appreciate that. Mr. Unimog.
Oh, Austin.
Which one? Nope.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, Ron Tuttle.
Thanks for the extension cord.
Nice. You got an extension cord from Ron?
I did.
I want one.
It's like this big.
Oh, geez. It's like 10 gauge, 4-strand 10 gauge.
It's 3 strands. Oh, maybe it is 4. It's 3 or 4 strands and yeah, big
stuff. As for your welder?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And Roger Lutz.
Oh, Roger Lutz. Yeah. Thank you very much. 4 years. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. And 5 years.
5.
We have 2.
2
to
5
add.
years.
Yeah, man. It seems like we're getting, I don't know. This is just really cool for me. I don't know why. It's just really neat to see people that are still paying attention to us
Yeah.
and the names that we get to interact with quite often on here.
Absolutely.
As some of our 5-year supporters. So we are still working on you guys' 5-year gifts.
But yeah,
we
thought they would have been ordered by now. They're not. We had a hold up with embroidery.
Yep.
I'll say that.
Okay.
And but
we're doing the embroidered banana hammocks?
Shh.
Dude, I'm so excited.
No. They're just penis hammocks for you.
Okay.
All these penis things. Anyways, yeah, there was some miscommunication in regards to embroidery, and so there was a hold up for a few weeks. So, but hopefully we'll get the proof soon, and we'll tell them to go.
Yeah. So 5-year supporters, we have 2 showing up this month.
Okay.
For birthdays. One is Robert Santiano.
Oh, Mr. Santiano.
He's definitely been to Machu Picchu.
Oh yeah.
He's for sure Peruvian.
Probably.
I've talked with him about it before.
Okay, good.
That's completely a lie. And then the other one is Brian Bendix.
Oh, Brian Bendix.
Thanks for the support, Brian.
Our favorite stripper.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the dad, the father of our favorite stripper.
Yeah, but the dad owns the company.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
So,
Brian, tell your son that he needs to get his own PayPal account.
Right? Actually, I don't even know. It might be the business's PayPal account.
They're paying for advertising. That's what it is, advertising expense now.
See, we just go to American Stripping if you need anything stripped or powder coated.
Yep, I could be stripped.
See, now you can write that off.
Anyways. Thank you guys. Seriously, all the birthdays that come through. We love interacting with you guys. We love having fun reading the names and just goofing off in general with you guys on the podcast. So
thanks for reminding me. I actually need to message him right now.
Brian?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to message him. So take it away.
All right. So that was let's see, we had the July's giveaway. We have the birthdays done. We have no FNGs, so we don't need to do that. We have our iTunes podcast, whatever that is, Apple Podcast giveaway for reviews. If you guys want a set of Yokohama tires, pretty much whatever you're looking for, go and leave us a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. So that is honestly one of the best ways to help us as a podcast and give back to us to help us grow. The more that we grow as a podcast and the more really cool, fun things we get to do for the listeners.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the podcast as well. Such as get a set of tires for you guys from Yokohama for a lucky winner. So pretty cool stuff. The Yokohama is totally on board with giving out a set of tires for you guys. Pretty cool stuff. And we also, up until we reach 750 reviews, that's when we're doing the tire giveaway. Once we reach 700 reviews, we're doing a swag pack giveaway that includes an Onyx Elite membership as well. So Onyx stepping up, doing some really cool stuff for listeners as well. And that all comes because we have supporters and FNGs and people with birthdays and people that call in on voicemails on Fridays. It literally is because of all the interactions with you guys that we get to work with some really cool companies and do some fun stuff for you guys. So
absolutely.
Support those companies, listen to the podcast, leave reviews, share it with all your friends. Honestly, the best way to continue the Snail Trail 4x4 freight train.
Yeah. So it's a blast to, be able to go to companies, approach companies and tell them, like, we have all these rad fans. You should support us, and we're going to pretty much turn it around and give it all back to the people.
Yeah.
Which is it's fun to do, and it's rewarding on, on both sides, really, because there's a little bit of a bragging right we get. Yeah. But we also get to give away cool shit to you guys. Yeah. So that's always fun. Yep. Like the Gear Wrench tools that we have for this month's giveaway. Or the coilovers from Brian at 4 Wheel Underground. You didn't hear about that? No. Brian wants to give away some coilovers. What? I'm just kidding. I'm totally
trying to. Brian's listening to this freaking out right now. I didn't do that.
Yeah. I was like,
no,
damn,
I'm just
in.
kidding. We are doing some gear wrench tool giveaways though. And so we have some really cool tool sets still in the Snail Trail arsenal. And so, yeah, there's some wrenches, the 90-tooth wrenches, which are awesome. We've got, I think we still have some reversible ones. Essentially, we're going to put together a couple of package options.
Yeah.
And then the winner for August's Snail Squad giveaway will get to choose which package they want.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
You can have Emma for Sean's package or Emma for Ryan's package.
I wouldn't go with Emma for Ryan's package.
Yeah, his is a little.
It gets around.
Yeah.
It's
probably true. You can have the Aussie package. That's what we could have fun doing it that way. They could choose their favorite tools.
Yeah.
And then we could organize it that way by their packages.
That would be kind of fun.
Yeah. And then
let's
see
do it that way.
who has the best package.
Yeah, let's do it that way.
Okay.
All right. Sweet. I'm on board. This is gonna be a fun
Just because it has to do with packages. I know.
Yeah. They're gonna love it too.
Yeah.
Oh man. So anyways, that's the August giveaway. If you guys want to get in for that, just go to irate4x4.com. Go down to the Snail Trail 4x4 forum, and then all your sign up options are there under the Snail Trail 4x4 forum. So
yeah. Sounds good.
Yep. Any other giveaway stuff? Housekeeping stuff?
We got the Walter stuff. Did you talk about that?
We have not talked about Walter yet today.
There's a few giveaways going on right now from Walter.
3 different ones, I think.
3.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 from Walter and then 1 that includes SnailTrail4x4. So the one that you guys probably have heard about on the past episodes is if you go into any of your welding supply stores and snap a photo of a Walter's product, whether it's a Walter, Drill Co. or Triumph, send that photo in to us and send that photo in to Walter and with the receipts, and you will be entered to win from Walter. You'll be entered to win a 2-year lease on an F-150 trimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And every month leading up until the end of November, you have different chances to win additional stuff from Walter.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff being given away here in this one.
At the end of this month, for us, we're going to be giving away some Walter products too. So whatever you did for that Walter giveaway, just send it on over to us and you will be eligible to win some Walter products.
Sweet.
Now, Walter's also doing a back to school giveaway going on their Instagram account.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go over to their Walter Surface Technologies Instagram account, and you should all be following them already because of our giveaway. They're doing something like tag a friend, and you get a certain amount of points. If you share the story, you get more points. If you create a video using some product, you get more points.
Wow.
And so you can choose a bunch of different ways to try to get yourself entered for a few different things from Walter, from, I believe, a bunch of welding supply stuff. So
cool.
Go over to their Instagram account, check it out, and all the information's over there.
Question.
Maybe.
If it's a back to school sale giveaway contest thing, is it really meant for like people that are going back to school for like welding school? Or is it like my 5-month-old is going back to school, so I can buy him some Drill Co. drills bits? Or I can buy him a mag drill.
I would go as far as saying that you spent money on having your child go to school, so we're going to give you free shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I could use a mag drill.
Yeah, there you go.
My 5-month-old is back in school, so I need a mag drill.
Drill's one of the options for that to win.
That's bullshit.
Who knows? Maybe it is.
Just
go read the fine print.
Yeah. So fun stuff there from Walter Surface Technologies. Huge shout out to them for the stuff they've been doing and working with the podcast here on. So anything else?
No,
I think that's it.
I think that's good. A half an hour in, and we're just about to get to some fun stuff.
We've been having fun.
We have been having fun. Yeah.
That's all we do here is have fun. We don't know how to not have fun.
Yeah. I agree.
Let's see. What fun did you have this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to go first.
Okay.
And I'm going to make that executive decision.
Whoa. Okay.
Because I didn't go to Trek.
I noticed.
Yeah, because you were there and I wasn't. And I want to hear how fun Trek is. But I decided that I was going to, just got home from my trip, I had a few days before the weekend happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I need to get back. I need to sit down. I need to figure out my life again. And I need to start the Samantha build.
Yeah, and you need to give time for your gout to flare up.
Yeah, that too.
So you guys,
yeah. So I told the assistant, because I had it marked off. I had it like Thursday through Sunday, I'm up at Trek. So I had it marked off, and then I told the assistant, I'm like, I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay home. I've got some stuff I need to take care of on Snail Armor. I want to work on Samantha. I've got all these things that I need to take care of, and me going out of town isn't going to help.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, sounds good. So what did I get done this weekend?
Everything. Samantha's done. Ready?
No.
Rolling chassis?
Didn't even touch it.
What?
Didn't even touch it. The only thing I have sort of got done is I had a guy from that has a 4th Gen Tacoma show up, and I could put version 2 of a cardboard cutout onto that and make refine and clean up the template.
Okay.
And so now I'm actually, for the 4th Gen Tacoma, I'm going to a steel prototype version to hopefully, I'll probably need 2. My guess is 2 steel prototype versions, but the first one is in the works. So I'm
nice.
Getting super close to getting the 4th Gen Tacoma out.
Nice.
Otherwise, I got told all kinds of honeydews because I didn't go out of town. Right? And
Jimmy.
I'm like, wait a second. Like, because I chose not to go to a 4x4 event, how does that equal then now I have all this stuff that you want me to do?
Yeah. Well, you're home now.
That's 100% it.
Yeah.
And the only reason, like one of the reasons I didn't I didn't flare up, which I did, but is because the assistant is going back to work this week. Right. And so I'm like, it's her last weekend, right? Before of summer. And once she goes back to school,
you'll have your days
back.
back.
The mini assistant is back at school. I'm going to have my weekdays back.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to let it go.
Be a good hubby.
Bite my tongue. And so she wanted to go paddle boarding. She's like, we haven't really gone paddle boarding as a family this year. I want to go paddle boarding. And I'm like, here's 5 hours, from packing and unpacking and driving and going paddle boarding and all this. That was my 5 hours that I was planning on working on Samantha. and I couldn't because she wanted to go paddle board.
Yeah.
Granted, her car broke, so I had to do some automotive repair.
Okay.
Which I'm going to go on an ever so slight rant.
I'm ready.
I said, so her battery was going out. So I'm like, your battery's bad. And she's like, okay, well, it's still under warranty. Like the car was barely starting, like didn't need a jump, but like you would hold the key down and go, and then eventually start, I'm like, your battery's going out. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, I know. Like this is your battery. Like it's going bad. So she went to O'Reilly, which is where she bought the battery.
O'Reilly's.
Exactly. Where she bought the battery. Because the battery it had the sticker on it was 722.
Okay.
Right. So it's only
2 years old.
2 years old. Right. And the battery has a 3-year warranty on it.
Yeah. Okay.
So they tested it and they said, your battery's not bad. Your alternator's bad. And so she drove it home.
All right.
Right. I'm like, you just drove almost 30 minutes home. Yeah. If you would have had a bad alternator, you wouldn't have been able to drive that far.
Yeah.
Right? Because then all you're doing is running off your battery.
Yeah. And the battery is already close to being dead.
And your battery's already dead.
Yeah.
So it's obviously not your battery.
Yeah.
Or it's not your alternator.
Yeah.
Right? She's like, well, I bought another one. So I was like, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dive into this thing. I'm going to pull the alternator out. I'm just going to go back to that store and I'm going to have them test the alternator.
Okay.
Right? And then that way I can say, okay, well, you told my wife that the alternator's bad. Now you're telling me the alternator's good. Yeah. So the battery's bad that is installed. So you guys need to replace the battery. Yeah. Right. So anyways,
now we're back here and you guys owe me 2 hours of work labor.
Yeah. Right. So I went and dropped the alternator off and I was like, how soon can you get to us? And they're, we'll get it in 5 minutes. I'm like, perfect. So I'm walking around the store or whatever. And the guy comes up and he's like, I can't test this alternator. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
He said, it says on the machine, like I hooked it all up and everything. And it says on the machine must be tested in vehicle. He's He's like, are you sure the alternator's bad? And I'm like, no, I think the alternator's fine. You told my wife that the alternator's bad.
Yeah.
So here I am pulling this out. And he's like, well, then our machine said it was bad. So do you need another one? I said, no, she already bought one. I'm trying to prove that this is not bad.
Yeah.
But you tell me you can't prove it. So I took it and I went back, drove back towards the home, and I went to Napa.
Okay.
And I went, hey, Napa, can you test this?
Okay.
Napa is like, yeah, no problem. Went off to test it, came back and was like, sorry, I can't test it. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
He's like, we don't have the correct bracket to put this onto the machine. I'm like, is that your store issue?
Yeah.
Or is that all Napa's? And he's like, well, there's not even like an outline for it on the board. So I'm assuming it's all of ours.
Huh.
And I was like, okay, fine.
I feel like it would not be that hard. The way alternators mount in a vehicle,
yeah,
it would not be that hard to make a universal mount.
Absolutely.
For testing alternators.
And he was like, well, let me see if I can figure something out. And I was like, well, hopefully all these tools in this shop, we could figure something out. Yeah. I was sort of bitter, but anyway, long story short there, they couldn't get it to work.
Okay.
So I went back, and I talked to the assistant. I said, look, that nobody was able to test this. And I went to the store where you bought it from, and they're like, we can't test it. It doesn't, it says it has to be tested on vehicle. So we're really at a crossroads. So we can't prove in a way, they won't accept the proof that the battery is actually the culprit unless we put the new one in. Yeah. Right. And so I said, yeah, why can't you test the alternator in the vehicle? Well, they did. They tested the battery and the alternator when they tested the system originally. While she was there. Gotcha. They said that the machine that they hook up supposedly can test the starter, the alternator, the battery, and there was like something else. It can test like all those things kind of at once. Okay. Or something. All right. I don't know. Or they hook it up in different places. I'm not sure. Yeah. I wasn't there when it was all going down. So I said, we're stuck. We have to put the alternator in so then we can take the car back so then they can test it. Why can't you test it? What? The alternator. All you need is a multimeter to check the output power on the post. Sure. On the hot post of the alternator. Yeah. Well, I would have had to put it back in. Yeah. And at that point, I might as well put the new one in. The car has 120,000 miles on it. Original alternator. So I was like, if we put the new one in and we can take it back to the O'Reilly and they can test it and then they'll go, oh, your alternator's good. Your alternator's fine. It's the battery that's bad. And then we go, good. Give us a free battery. Yeah. We had to pay for an alternator for you to prove to you that the battery's bad. Yeah. So I went to put the new battery in and I grabbed it out of the box and I spun it and it made the alternator. Yeah. Sorry. I grabbed the alternator out of the box and I spun it. Did you see my reel? Yeah. And it made all this clinking noise in it. And I was like, what is up with this? So I started playing with it and twinning it around and flipping it up inside and down. Eventually it locked. I'm like, oh, this thing's fucked. Yeah. And I'm like, man, now I'm going to have to drive back to get another alternator to go get another alternator to install the one that's not even bad. Yeah. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So, but then I saw something on the inside and I was like, oh, this is weird. So then I started shooting that video and I pulled out some piece of plastic on the inside from the inside of the alternator that looked like a zip tie. Yeah. That was on the inside. It was ridiculous. So anyways, after that, I spun it and spun fine. Yeah. But if you guys get a part from anywhere, just check it, spin it, make sure it spins freely, however, whatever kind of thing it is, just, check it one way or another. Those are 2 cents. So anyways, put the alternator in. I actually bought a new serpentine belt from Napa because I was like, well, I got to take the serpentine belt off to get this in. So I'll put a new serpentine belt on. They gave me the wrong serpentine belt. But her belt didn't look bad. So I just put that one back on. Okay. It wasn't cracking or anything. Okay. So put the original one back on. And then we took it back to O'Reilly. And we said, hey, our battery's going back. Can you check the battery? Okay. And he came out and he's like, no, I think it's your alternator. We said, that's what you guys, we had you test this yesterday. Yeah. And you guys told us it was the alternator. Yeah. I put in a brand new alternator. Yep. So is the alternator that you just gave me bad?
Yeah.
Or could it be the battery?
Uh-huh.
And they're like, well, maybe it's the battery.
What do you mean, maybe? What the fuck?
I'm like, so how do you test the battery? He's like, well, you would need to pull it out. We would have to take it. We'd have to run it through a full charging cycle. We'd have to check all, when it does the charging cycle, it checks all the whatever things on the plates on the inside and all that, and we'll know if it's a bad battery. And I said, okay, let's do that. And he's like, well, I need it for 90 minutes. I'm like, for the full charge and everything? And he's like, yeah. So I was like, okay. So then we didn't really rearrange our schedule so much, but we organized it so that I could pull the battery out, put it in another vehicle. The assistant could drive to drop that off. Then she could go do a bunch of errands so that
on her way back,
and then had to pick up the mini assistant at school. She could get the battery, do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, this was, sorry. She tested it when the mini assistant went to school. That was a side of the story I didn't even tell. First, let me jump way back in time for this story. First, she went to one O'Reilly's and they told her it was fine. Everything's good. Because she drove it there and they came out and immediately started it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
So she came home and I was like, let's let it sit for a half an hour and then let's try to start it and see how it is. And it lagged. I'm like, okay, so you need to let it sit for a half an hour. So then during the school day, on Friday, she drove it to the O'Reilly's and almost across the street is the mini assistant's school.
Okay.
So, she left it for a half an hour, then had them come out and test it. And they said it was alternator. Anyway, so here we are. She drops the battery off. She goes and runs her errands. And then she was like, I thought they were going to call me, figure this out. So she calls them and, she's like, hi, I dropped off a battery. I'm wondering if you guys finished it. And she's like, the person on the other end said, oh, it failed immediately.
I love it. I love the fucking stupidity. Yeah,
I had to change an alternator. You still told me it was the alternator. You told us it had to be 30 minutes. We rearranged our entire day to drop off the battery for you guys. And then even if she stayed 5 minutes, she would have figured out that it failed immediately.
Yep.
And then, the conclusion of the story is they gave us a free battery.
But at what expense? I mean, this, you and I talk about it all the time. People just literally not doing their jobs because they don't want to do their job. And it's like, what? You're not doing anybody any justice by not doing your job.
Right.
And not only that, you are just wasting everybody's time and yours included. Like, how much time did they waste of their own time because you had to keep coming back and talking to them and be like, no, I'm pretty sure it's the battery. And then they're getting frustrated because they're like, oh, fuck this guy. It's the alternator. And you're like, no, I'm pretty sure it's the battery. And it's just do your job.
Yeah.
Just do at least the bare minimum of testing it. Throw it on the tester really quick. Yeah. That's, oh my God.
Right. And that's I knew it was battery, but the thing was we were trying the ultimate problem was I sent my wife to do the job. I thank goodness she doesn't listen to this because I think if I would have gone the first time, I would say I drove here.
Yeah.
I came to this O'Reilly's, which is I've moved since this point.
Yeah.
And this is the O'Reilly's that we bought the battery from. So I'm coming back to you, which is 20-ish minutes away.
Yeah.
And if my battery if my alternator was the culprit, I would have not made it here.
Yes. Yeah.
Because your car runs off of your alternator.
Yep.
The battery is what runs sort of other components and things on the inside and starts your vehicle.
Yeah.
So, and they would have been like,
well, I mean, it was part of the problem of sending the wife out to do it. But I mean, it's a major problem of the employees also perceiving the wife to not understand, the woman to not understand the vehicle and think that they know more about the vehicle and just telling her, because she doesn't understand, I can just say, oh yeah, it's alternator, whatever. It's the unicorn farts stuck in your intake. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
that, and,
I don't know.
And my whole thing. So the assistant got kind of upset about this because she was like, I spent like $250 on an alternator that I didn't need.
Yep.
And I said, yeah, but you spent $250 to get a free battery.
Yeah.
Is sort of what it came down to.
Yeah.
Like you had, like they would have not, unless we pulled the battery out. That's the only thing. Like hindsight, we should have just said, let's just take the damn battery in separate. Alone. Because that's what I tried to do with the alternator. I'm like, you said the alternator is bad. I'm pulling it out. I'm going to take it to you alone. I'm going to isolate it so you can tell me the alternator is still good.
Yeah.
And nobody could read the alternator.
Yeah.
Which was, I was like, well, I'm screwed that way now.
Yeah.
Because I can't say this. You said this was good.
You said this was bad.
You said this was bad. I brought it to you. Say it's good. Now I put it back in the vehicle. Now you're telling me it's bad again.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's the battery. Like I had no easier way, and I didn't realize until after the fact. I had no easy way to prove to them that it's actually the battery that's bad.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't, like you're telling me all these things. I need to prove to you that it's not these things where I should have just pulled the battery out in the first place.
So let's talk a little bit about, I mean, we're going to go long in this episode here, but this is a great opportunity to talk about how do you diagnose a battery or an alternator, and how do you tell the difference of which one is bad and failing, which one's good,
right?
In this instance, right, or any instance. So, how do you do that?
Well, I'm not 100% because I know what I do know is you can't just put a voltmeter or a multimeter onto a battery. It'll tell you like 12.4 or 11.9, but it won't tell you if like the cranking amps are good.
True.
Right. And that's really kind of the thing. So like I trickle charged that battery and it was full. Like my battery, I have one of those like repair a battery things, and it was at 25% and it went all the way up to 100% and said the battery was good. And it still would lug to start the vehicle because the cranking amps weren't there. The overall power of the battery wasn't there, even though it thought it was full.
Yeah. So typically when that happens, a battery does lose voltage. When the cranking amps are losing their power, that means cells are going out in the battery. And so the battery will lose voltage. It'll do it very quickly. Like you said, half an hour. Yeah. And the battery was barely able to start the car anymore. Right. So you can put a multimeter on it right when you charge it, and then wait half an hour, something like that. A good battery will not drop voltage after charging it for at least 24 hours. Right. At all. It'll say 12.4 the entire time. Yes. Or 11.9, whatever, 12.1, 12.2, whatever it is. Whenever you charge it and take the charger off, it should hold that full charge at least 24 hours. Bad batteries will start losing voltage. You'll see them start counting down on your multimeter. If you check it, really bad batteries, I mean, in your case, you probably would have seen it dropping as you're just sitting there with the multimeter on. Yeah. But you can come back and check it in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and you should see that voltage dropping if it's a bad battery. Right. So just don't have the battery hooked up to anything, nothing on the battery terminals, charge it fully, and then pull the charger off, check your voltage, and then come back in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is, and check. And if it drops any voltage at all, you probably have cells going out in your battery. Okay. So, yeah. But there is something in regards to like the starting force, like the cranking amps, right? That will. So what you're saying is it's easy to tell the strength of a battery by if it's dropping, not necessarily you have to worry about the cranking amps. Yeah, well, cranking amps and your dropping voltage, cranking amps a lot of times comes from how many cells are in the battery operational. Right. Because batteries can be put together in 1.5 volt cells, 3 volt cells, 3.1 volts, whatever, and then they hook all those cells up in a combination of series and parallel to get to your 12 volt batteries, right? And so if cells are bad, then your voltage will drop and your cranking amps will drop. They kind of go hand in hand. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. All that makes sense. And, I was just so stuck on proving O'Reilly wrong that I didn't think about like, well, let's just pull the battery. Yeah. You said this was bad. I should have brought the other thing too. Yeah. The other way to check the alternator is with the vehicle on and running. Yep. You just put your multimeter on your load post of the alternator and then a common ground. Yep, any ground. And it should read, older vehicles will read 13.6 to 13.8, 13.9, something like that. Newer vehicles will read 14.1 to 14.4.
Okay.
somewhere in that range. And so if your alternator is outputting that much voltage, it's probably good.
Right.
You have enough voltage there to properly charge a battery and run your 12 volt system in your car.
Yeah.
But if it's putting out 10 volts or 8 volts or 7 volts, something, your alternator is fucked.
Yeah.
So, there's, it's fairly, I don't want to say super easy because it can be really hard to get to that load post on an alternator while an engine's running. But you can check alternators and batteries without having to use a super expensive diagnostic equipment that a lot of the auto parts stores have.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, completely makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was even at the first O'Reilly's I went to when the guy put the alternator onto the machine and it ran and it said, can't
test unless it's in the vehicle. Yeah.
You know, the guy gave me some weird thing like, you know, sometimes it clips off the AC/DC line and it's not a full curve and it's just messing things up. And, as much as it might be like the alternator might be the problem why your battery is ultimately failing. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. Is it putting out 12 volts DC or 14 volt, close to 14 volts DC?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's maybe that is a possible case. Maybe like, but the question is it running? Is it working or not? That's all I care about, and he was telling me things like, the alternator might mess up your battery. Like, okay.
You are correct.
Yes,
it might. Is this one doing that?
Yeah. So that ate up a lot of my Saturday.
That sucks. That's super frustrating.
Yeah. And then she wanted to go paddleboarding. Right. So it's like, oh God, like and it was warm Saturday and I was hot outside and I was working and I was like, I'm done. I'm ready. Like I worked outside for a bunch of hours fixing your car. And now you want me to pack the truck with all of our paddle boarding gear and everything so that we can go paddle boarding. And I was not happy. I was like, I either want to relax the rest of the day or let me sit in the shop and stare at Samantha and just dream. Like I did not want to go paddle boarding. And she kept asking me like, why are you grumpy? Why are you upset? And I was like, I'm doing everything that you want me to do. Yeah. As you wish.
Yeah.
And she caught on to it, but I was like, I'm trying not to get myself in trouble right now.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm here, I'm going through the motions. I'm doing what you want.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. I've had a few of those moments too lately.
And it was fun. Sorry, just to continue on before you jump over to Trek. I posted on a story of me holding the alternator in front of the CRV. And I showed her on Sunday, I had like 5 or 6 comments of, hey, so when you're done working on her car, you actually going to work on Samantha? And
I'm going to go back to that comment now.
And I showed her like 2 or 3 of them. The story's gone.
Oh, but, that was a story.
Yeah, okay. I know. Yeah, you were going to go comment.
I was going to go comment on the post.
And she's like, is that why you were upset yesterday? And I was like, yeah, one of the reasons. I'm like, I didn't go to Trek because I wanted to stay home and work on things that I need to get done.
Yeah.
And I left it at that. And then and that was Sunday, and I started getting mad again. So I was like, I need to walk. I need to go sit in the shop and stare and I need some whiskey.
Yeah. Screw these crystals.
All right. I'm done.
That's funny. It's funny in how frustrating that is because I totally feel you on that. We talk a lot about customer service and just people doing the right thing to help customers out. And you got fucked 2 days for 2 days on that.
Yeah.
So.
A full day, but over 2 days. Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, man.
All right. It's water under the bridge, sort of. It's still hot water, but it's under the bridge.
Water under the bridge.
Anyways, I want to hear about Trek. I know you only went for a very short period of time, but you went some of the best time. I've seen a lot of stories. I've seen an interesting story. Maybe I'll remind me about it later. Brad posted about it. One of the winch hills leaving, and there was broken rigs still trying to get up the trail.
Yep.
So maybe we can talk about that at some point. But how was Trek? What was your experience? How was overnight camping with the baby? I want to hear it all.
So Trek started for me. I went up last week the week before Trek and put up all the repeater radio equipment.
Yeah. You got special permission to go on Rattlesnake Road.
Yep. And then I realized as I was coming home from Trek that our special use permit expires
that night
on Sunday.
Oh crap.
And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get back up to get the repeater equipment now. I gotta call the company and the Forest Service and grovel to extend our use permit for half a day to make an appointment to go up.
Or special permission.
Yeah, or just go up and ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
So I do know their truck schedule when they are running the big, multi-ton trucks, the rock trucks. I know when they're running them, when they're not running them. So I can try and mitigate my access and my involvement with them and with their operations, and by going on a day when they're not running the trucks, and then just hope that they don't get too pissed.
Yeah.
So I've got to figure out that. But anyways,
and in worst case scenario, you could wheel while the river's flowing, huh?
No, I think they've continuing to keep it dropped so that they can work on the dam now.
So you could wheel to the bottom of Committee
and then hike all the way up. That's still a long hike.
You could. I'm just saying you could.
I wouldn't be able to hike all the equipment out from there.
You need a buddy.
Yeah, I would need a pack mule. So
you have a few employees.
I do have a few pack mules. That is true. I might do that. Anyways, so I got to solve that problem, but I'll figure that out when I get to it. The Sierra Track itself was it's a fun event as always.
Yeah, it's a blast.
It's a great event to just go and hang out at.
I'm now very pissed I didn't go.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually don't know too much of how Sierra Trek was. So I arrived around 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
Got to say hi to a bunch of people. And we just kind of walked in and went to the Morphlite booth to check and see how that was going. We needed to hand off something to Ozzy. And so the secretary and her best friend came out.
Oh, cool.
So her best friend came out. She did some car camping. We had the Lance. I did not bring the 4Runner to go wheeling because the kid, if we're continually moving on the trail, he does great. Yeah. Falls asleep, has a good time. As soon as we stop moving, he is not happy.
Sure.
And the best place to be to not go anywhere is on Fordyce during Sierra Trek.
Yeah. If you don't want to wheel.
Yeah. Nothing against Fordyce and Sierra Trek. They just have a big job of running 100 vehicles over 2 days through the trail.
Yeah. And the trail's not closed.
No.
Right. So there's oncoming traffic, people not realizing the event's going on. There's
people who do
chaos.
realize the event is going on and purposefully try and sabotage the event, which is what you alluded to. And we'll get back to that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. And so I went up there. We got there about 2:00. We went in, tried to figure out life and how things are going at the event. And then took the girls back to camp to set up our camp, get the Lance set up and everything. Once we knew where we were supposed to be parking, got camp set up. And then I said, hey, I'm going to go socialize for a bit, say hi to people, shake some babies, kiss some hands, and figure and find our dinner tickets, our meal tickets.
Sure.
Once I have the meal tickets, my plan is to leave and stop socializing around 4, come back 4:30, be here back at camp sometime between 4:30 and 5. And then we can work on finding out if we want to go stand in line for dinner or hang out back down in the event area or hang out back here until the line goes down, whatever it is. So, that's what I did. I started socializing around 4:00. I stopped socializing and started trying to find our dinner tickets.
Okay.
Couldn't find our dinner tickets.
So they weren't at registration?
No. So the way I did it was, 2 of the Morphlite employees were supposed to be leaving Saturday morning.
Okay.
And not staying through dinner Saturday and breakfast Sunday.
Got it.
So I was like, perfect. I'll take their 2 tickets, have them leave them behind. I'll take their 2 tickets for me and secretary. And then I'll buy a 3rd ticket for
the friend,
the bestie, the friend. And so I was able to find one ticket. Ozzy and Kelly had it.
Yeah.
But the other 2 tickets from the employees that were supposed to leave were nowhere to be found because one of them lost one of them.
Okay.
And the other one went home early, gave his ticket to another employee that was there who said he was going to come up, but he wasn't going to take any meals.
Yeah.
So he goes, I'll bring my own food. I'll be self-sufficient. Don't worry about it. I was like, okay. So I didn't buy him a meal ticket. He took that meal ticket and used it for himself. So we didn't have any meal tickets.
Oh, dang it.
And I was like, what the fuck, you guys?
Yeah.
We talked about this. So it was all good. I went and found some meal tickets. I know I have my sources. I know some people there, and luckily people like me. I'm likable enough that they helped me fix the situation. But by the time I had all that squared away and figured out and I had meal tickets, it was like almost 6:00.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I went back to camp, and you know how the secretary is with her feeding schedule.
She gets hangry.
She gets very hangry, and I get the brunt of it all.
Yes.
So I went back to camp to find them and get them the meal tickets, knowing I'm already behind schedule and they're probably already getting anxious about food, and they were not at camp.
Oh.
And they said they would wait around camp, either at camp or down by the lake, maybe. I was like, okay. So I go down by the lake, nothing there. Start walking around camp and start making my diameter, my circle radius bigger to searching.
So was the friend's car still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't leave.
They didn't leave.
Got it.
But they were no longer at camp like they said they would be.
Yeah. So they went looking for you.
They went looking for me.
Yeah.
And so I just sat there in camp. I was like, I'm not going to leave. I'm staying right here. They'll show up eventually.
Yeah.
And they finally showed up around 6:45, and they were not well, one of them was not happy with me.
Yes. Reid.
Reid was not happy. And so I gave them the meal tickets. We went and got dinner. And then it was starting. I mean, Reid goes to bed typically around 7.
Okay.
So about 6:30, 6:45, he starts getting cranky.
Yeah.
Because he's just tired.
And that was dinner time for you guys.
And that was dinner time for us. So we're sitting at the table chatting with Dolly and Eric and Ozzy and Kelly and some other people that were there. And all of a sudden, Reid starts crying and fussy. And so the secretary didn't really get a chance to eat her dinner. And I was going to be like, here, let me take him and go. But she just got up and took him and left. And I was like, that's not good.
Nope.
I'm going to hear about this one later.
Yep. You're in trouble.
I'm in trouble. So I just sat there and finished mine. Her best friend scarfed her meal down faster than I could scarf mine down. And then she went over, grabbed Reid from the secretary, and the secretary came back and ate her meal. And then I finished mine and went and relieved the bestie so that she can have her dessert. And then while I was over there, some people came by and I was chatting with them, and the kid fell asleep in my arms. So I was like, okay, he's asleep. So we just needed to get him back to the camper now. He had already been fed. But it was kind of getting to the point where it's like, we should start thinking about feeding him again, because he's like pretty much clockwork every 2 hours because he's still on breast milk.
Okay.
And so we took him back to the camper, and as soon as we started getting him in the camper and starting to get him into bed, he woke up. And I was really fussy, and so we're like, all right, let's feed him. And he didn't really want to take any food, but like he didn't want to go back to sleep at all.
Yeah.
And so it took me another 45 minutes or so to get him to go back to sleep. And the problem with the Lance is that the only place to really put him to sleep is up on where the cab over part and where the bed is. On the sides of the bed, there's like these little cubbies.
Yeah, sure.
And one side, the driver's side, has no cabinet, and the passenger side has a little cabinet that opens up.
Okay. So put him in the cabinet.
We put him in the cabinet. When he starts crying, we just shut it.
Yeah.
No.
Perfect.
So, we put him in the little cubby side, and it's kind of neat. It acts like a little bassinet almost right there. And so
just without the lid.
No lid. Exactly. Yeah. No soundproof lid. And so I put him in there, and I know that he likes to be warm when he sleeps. Like really warm. We had a nanny at one point before we started the daycare, and she just ran really hot, like body temperature wise. And he would just melt in her arms and just pass out anytime she held him. So I know that he likes to be warm. We have a heating pad in his crib at home, but it's underneath the sheet. right? Yeah. And so I brought an extra heating pad, ran it off the Jackery underneath the top layer of blanket. And the blanket was too insulating for the heating pad. So he woke up about 10:45 cold. And like, after we got him down, I was like, I want to go back out and like be in the raffle and the festivities that are starting now, the after dinner stuff.
Yeah.
But I was so tired. I'm going to bed at 3 a.m. right now. I got up that morning at 6 a.m.
Oh yeah.
to pack everything and get out of town, right, in a relatively good time. So I was dead tired, and I ended up just, I'm done. I'm going to stay here. And I know that the secretary likes to go to sleep. And if she gets woken up at night, then I have a really bad next day. At home, that's doable. I can shut doors and keep the kid from interrupting her sleep very much at home. But in a camper, in a Lance, there's no doing that.
There's no sound difference, move
so
anywhere to hide. Yeah.
No. So I was like, if the kid starts waking up and screaming or fussing at all, I have to hold him and get him back to sleep. There's no letting him cry it out or anything like I can do at home sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to stay in this camper. It was our first overnight camping trip. I want it to go well so that we can do more of them in the future.
But what about Marlon's event?
That wasn't necessarily camping.
Okay.
Because we got to go inside somebody's house and they made dinner for us. And we had the air conditioner running in the camper and it was real hot outside. So,
okay.
So yeah, it was a little bit more support if we needed it, right? A little bit more of a safety net. Whereas camping, there's not that much more of a safety net. So anyways, he woke up about 10:45. I woke up, couldn't get him, nudge him back to sleep or nuzzle him back to sleep, I guess, real quick. And I think he just got cold. And he can roll over to his stomach, but he can't roll back over to his back yet on his own.
Okay.
And so I can't just like layer him up in blankets, because if he can't get back to his back and pull the blankets out from over his head or something, he could suffocate.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, okay, I guess I'm going to hold him and see if he goes back to sleep. And eventually got to the point where the only way he would sleep is if I was holding him.
Lovely.
So for the first time ever, he got to sleep in the big bed.
Yeah. Okay.
In my arms. And I was deathly afraid of rolling over on him.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm just laying on my back with him on my chest, essentially, which hurt my back over time because I can't roll around and get the pressure off my back. And so finally, by around 6 a.m., I was like, I can't just lay here anymore on my back. And so I finally kind of rolled over and laid my arm down and created a barriers for him to lay in. And he loved that and fell asleep just fine. And it worked out great because with my arm positioned that way, I couldn't roll over anymore and roll over on top of him if I did. But it all worked great after I figured out that he just needed to be warm. And the only way to really warm him up was because we didn't bring, I guess, the right stuff for him to sleep in, was to hold him. Yeah. Once I figured that out, he slept the rest of the night, no problem.
Nice. Okay. But you didn't.
I didn't sleep at all. The secretary still didn't really sleep at all. And my back was sore in the morning.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, for the figuring it out and kind of now we know what we need to do next time, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think he's just kind of also outgrowing that little cubby space.
Sure.
So I think until we build some sort of barrier where the table can be dropped down in that bed where the table is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until we create a barrier there and kind of turn that into a crib at nighttime, he's going to get to sleep in the big bed when we go camping in the Lance.
All right.
So
we'll see how long that lasts before the secretary says no.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm going to say this though. I never had an infant, right? But, and to some extent, so we have a cat and the cat loves sleeping like next to me.
Okay.
Right. Yep. Like as close to the cat as close to me as you can, as possible. Right. And I've had cats growing up my entire life. And then for some reason, I don't know if I run warm at night and they want to sleep as close to me as possible. But because of that, I've always thought like, yeah, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to have it sleep with an infant. Right. I still think I'd freak out.
Yeah.
But I'm in my mind, I'm like, I've never rolled over a cat.
Yeah, true.
Why would I roll over an infant?
Yeah.
But a cat can run out of the way if I move,
Yeah.
where the infant wouldn't be able to. But for what it's worth, I've always thought that. I've never been put into the situation, but I've always been like, yeah, what like I'm aware enough when I'm usually rolling over that there's something there, and I can't.
Yeah.
Usually I just elbow my wife and get her out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So after doing that once, I'm like, okay, I think I'm cognizant enough to not roll over on him now that I kind of understand, been in the situation.
Yeah.
But now I don't want him getting used to sleeping in the bed. That's the big problem I really want to avoid.
Yes. Absolutely.
So,
or needing you.
Yeah. To go to sleep.
Or the secretary to go to sleep.
Somebody to hold him.
Yeah.
Right. So I've been working at home on getting him to self-soothe.
Okay.
Which is a lot of the quote unquote cry it out method, right? They cry until they can find a way to put themselves to sleep. And so I've been working on that at home and it's been doing pretty well. It's been doing really well, I guess, because of daycare as well. I'm sure as he starts getting tired, they put him in the crib and then he puts himself to sleep because they're like, he's in the crib, he needs to sleep. And they let him cry it out in the crib while they're dealing with the other kids.
Yeah.
So he has been getting really good at that. When we got home and when he went to bed Sunday night, he did not want to go to bed without being held. And I was like, nope, we're not doing this. And so we had to deal with him for crying for about 20 minutes. It wasn't as bad as it typically is.
Okay.
Before he was able to put himself to sleep.
Wow.
So, that's my main concern is getting him used to sleeping in the big bed.
Sure.
That I don't want. But I don't, at this point in time, I'm not sure of how else to do it until we can get him sleeping a full night without waking up to need food.
Yeah.
Which won't happen until he's on more solid food.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's true. So what was the deal with this broken down rig?
Yeah. So there was it's Sierra Trek. There's broken down rigs every day.
Yeah.
There was 2 incidences, that had, breaks and then some miscommunications with wind chills or just an interesting situation happened with the wind chill and coinciding with that break.
Sure. One
of them was on the Friday run. The trail leader for Friday run, he typically runs in the front of the pack.
The trail leader should.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if there's a big break in the group, he will sometimes stay back with that broken rig until they get fixed and let other people lead the trail out.
Yes.
So that's what he did. He wanted to make sure that the broken rig made it up to camp and they were all good, which good on him. However, what the big problem was that we had a drag committee that day coming up the trail behind the participants to make sure that everybody makes it up to camp.
Got it.
So
okay.
the trail lead
didn't need to stay behind.
He didn't need to stay behind. And he, for some reason, either didn't know or refused to believe that there was a drag crew. Cause I'm pretty sure people told him throughout the day.
Yeah.
But what he did was as he was coming through the trail, he was saying, I'm the last one of the day. The wind chills you guys can close down and make yourself dinner and go back to camp and have a good time. So he would close down the wind chills as he came through thinking he was the last one in the group. Yeah. When in actuality, there was a drag crew with participants still coming through the trail.
Wow.
And so the wind chills are like the drag crew would get to wind chill 1. They're like, there's nobody here at wind chill 1. What's going on? And then we're like, we got to figure this out. So they did a bunch of talking back and forth, finally found the wind chill 1 guys. Wind chill 1 guys are like, no, trail crew said we're done for the day. He was last one. And main camp was like, no, there's still people on the trail.
Yeah.
Can you get back to the wind chill and help? And by the time they got back, they were already through the wind chill. And, so anyways, that happened at pretty much all the wind chills and they couldn't
communicate that there's the drag will be.
It was too far beyond. Like the trail lead was already too far up the trail. I think by the time they figured out what was going on, he was at like 3 or 3.5 or something.
Oh, wow.
It's like wind chills 1, 2, and 3 had nobody at them.
Jeez.
When the last participants came through.
Yeah. Interesting.
So anyways, breakdown of
miscommunication.
Miscommunication. That was the first incident. The second incident was every year at Trek, there are users of the trail of Fordyce that hate that Trek happens.
Okay.
Because Trek, unfortunately, but fortunately, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. They take over the Fordyce Trail for 2 days, Thursday and Friday, that week of Sierra Trek.
Yeah.
And then Saturday is the river run. So they're taking over the Wind Chills 3, 4, 5.
Top half. Yeah.
Section of the trail. The users that are very frequent users of Fordyce, they don't like going to the Rubicon. They think Fordyce is their home, their trail, and nobody gets to shut it down or take it away from them, or they don't have to share it with people if they don't want to. They put up a fight every year to try and sabotage the event.
Wow.
Yeah. Every year it happens.
Sounds like river or salmon runs, but yeah. Okay.
Kind of, yeah. But a lot less entertainment driven.
Yeah.
So they come through and they find their way in between the participants, and they ignore the crews on the winch hills and take lines that purposefully roll their vehicles and break vehicles in the middle of the winch hills so that they clog up the trail for the event during the event.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
So
thanks, guys.
They caused a big ruckus on Winch Hill 4. And we were trying to get law enforcement. So this has happened every year I've been there. And so the last year it happened, we had law enforcement in camp. And they started going down the trail. By the time law enforcement started down the trail, we told the sabotagers, law enforcement's on the way. You guys can keep messing around if you want to, but we're done dealing with you. You now got to deal with them. And they stopped before law enforcement started down the trail.
Okay.
This year, not so much. So they caused a big ruckus as we were looking around trying to find the law enforcement. We finally found them in camp. By the time they started down the trail, the sabotagers were heading to Winch Hill 5. And they caused a big interruption at Winch Hill 5. The crew at Winch Hill 5 was like, we're not sure what to do. They're starting to get a little
rowdy,
very rowdy. And like, it's like, we might be in danger kind of thing if we keep trying to get them to stop. And so we just told the Winch Hill crew, just de-escalate, pull off to the side, let them do. It's not worth getting fights over. We have law enforcement coming to you. Just stand down and let those guys do whatever they want. And for the time being. And so Winch Hill 5 crew eventually was just like, well, do we have any more participants on the trail? And we weren't sure. We were pretty sure everybody was back up at camp, but we didn't have confirmation yet. We couldn't find the drag crew. And so we said, we're pretty sure this was the last vehicle in the group. This was the drag crew. Winch Hill 5 said that they're pretty sure they saw that vehicle go through already. So they were like, you know what? I think the best thing to do is for us to just leave and come back up to camp.
Okay.
So they packed up, came up to camp, and let the sabotagers just take over and have their way with Winch Hill 5. But apparently they had rolled 1 or 2 vehicles on Winch Hill 5 and had winch lines all over the place. And it was just a really unsafe area what they were doing right then. So we just, okay, get out of there. Law enforcement's on their way. Let them deal with them.
Yeah.
So I never heard what happened, what came of that, if there were any repercussions that law enforcement upheld or what, but yeah, it just.
So were there people still down trail at that point?
No, everybody was up at camp.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cause I'm pretty sure the video I saw was, and it was people getting up 5. Okay. And the comment was, where is trail crew?
Maybe we didn't then. Maybe there was a miscommunication there too.
Yeah. Or there was an unknown factor that there's a bunch of rigs rolled and maybe they assumed that they were participants.
Maybe. Yeah.
And they weren't actually. And that person, Brad from Hot Metal Fab, was saying like, why are there all these rigs rolled here? Mm-hmm. I need to help them.
Yeah.
And that's what he was like, we got to help. That's what we do.
Yep.
And he didn't know that they weren't participants.
That's a high possibility.
And so he was there helping roll people over or get people up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have full context of that video. All I heard was, where's the trail crew? We still have people coming that are broken, you know, or having problems.
It could be. So that happened Saturday.
Yeah.
When I heard that over the radio, and with me not running the comms this year, I didn't get all the full details of exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
But from what I heard and what I talked with people on Sunday, that is what I gathered from the situation.
Wow.
So
that sucks. I mean, Like, I really dislike the fact that they pull parade permits on the Rubicon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
I don't think they can close. I don't feel that they should be able to close down the trail. Right. I also am not the person that is going to go out onto the trail when there's an event going on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like, and so I'm sort of six one way, half a dozen the other on this scenario where it's like, I don't want them to close the trail. I feel that's wrong. Like, if I want to go out there and wheel, I should still be able to, but I'm probably not going to go out there and wheel because there's going to be hundreds of rigs out there.
Yeah.
The thing is though, that with like JJ and Jeepers and everything, or Jeep Jamboree or whatever their names are, they wheel to the springs and then they don't really wheel much after that.
No.
So they close the trail, but nobody's on the trail.
Yep.
Like there's nobody.
It's typically they go
using
in
it.
On Thursday. And it's like there's 400 or 500 vehicles on the trail Thursday.
Yeah.
But like Friday and Saturday, there's
nobody
everybody's hanging out in the springs.
Trail is closed,
Yeah.
but nobody's really using the trail.
Yeah.
And I think that's stupid. Like, yeah, okay, you can't drive on private property. Fully understand that.
Yeah.
Right? But why close the trail if nobody's using it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. But the thing is that Fordyce is not closed.
Nope.
Right? So you are allowed to go out on it. But realize that there's an event going on.
Yeah.
Right? Realize there's going to be tons of people out there.
Yep.
Like and I think that what needs to happen is this is not your trail.
Yeah.
It's not your trail.
It's public trail.
It's a public trail that people are allowed to be out there. An event is allowed to be had. I remember when we did trail maintenance on it and people were like, why are you doing trail maintenance? Why are you stopping the trail? You're not supposed supposed to be doing trail maintenance. I'm like, yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're allowed to be we're out here on, fulfilling the needs of the Forest Service and for Friends of the Fordyce and whatever else. And we're fixing the trail so we can keep it open. So there's not damage done to it. So it doesn't get closed.
Yep.
And it's like, you're not allowed to stop me.
Yeah.
Like, you got to hold up for like 5 minutes, dude.
5 minutes of
chill.
that while we're dumping a bunch of rock out of this trailer.
And then I'm going to move out of your way.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's really a me thing.
Yeah.
Right? You're stopping me. You're not allowing me to drive the trail as fast as I want.
Yeah.
You're in my way.
Yeah.
Right? And it's all me.
Yeah.
And that is one of the biggest problems with the off-road industry.
I completely agree.
Like, take your head out of your ass and think about the big picture here.
Yeah.
Like, we are out here, we are supporting Cal 4-Wheel. And I wasn't there this year, but this event
is going to keeping this trail open.
Yes.
The money generated from this event goes back into keeping this trail open for you to be able to come out here and wheel it whenever you want.
Yes.
That's
exactly where I was going.
Get your head out of your ass and come on, man.
Yeah. Chill.
It's 2 days out of 365.
Yeah.
And it's not even closed. You just go get in before the people get on the trail or go in the evening after everybody's off. Like,
yeah. On Saturday, you wheel up to committee and back, whatever.
Yeah.
Actually, you could wheel all the way up. If you don't get to the river by noon, because that's the goal of river run, get down to the river by noon and turn and go up. Like, if you start wheeling at Eagle Lakes and your goal is to get to the river by noon, that group's eating lunch. So then you can fly the whole rest of the way up and nobody will really be on the trail.
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
but no,
learn how to work around it.
Yep. No, that's definitely not their mentality though.
No, that sucks.
Yeah. So anyways, the event was awesome as always. A little bit lower attendance this year, which we've been hearing that all the Cal 4 events are getting lower attendance this year across the board. So, yeah, it is what it is. The event was still a lot of fun. I didn't get to really hang out with the festivities that much.
Yeah.
But I had a good time experimenting with having the kid out there. The kid loved being in the outdoors.
Yeah.
He loves just looking around and everything around. He's just enthralled with anything that moves, anything that makes a noise.
Yep.
He's just taking it all in. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Awesome. That's great.
And so that was a good time. The road is in fantastic condition.
Oh, good.
I was able to do 20 miles an hour in the 350 with the camper on it.
Wow.
So that tells you how good the road is right now.
That's outstanding.
Yeah. That whole section, so like the first half of the road is typically graded pretty well.
Yeah.
Has been the past few years. That second half of the road is where it's bad.
Yep.
That was all graded.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So kudos to Tahoe National Forest and the other entity. I think it's just Placer County for working together and getting those two things graded for the event if they did it for the event, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But road is in fantastic condition to get to Meadow Lake right now.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear that. I mean, minus a sleepy baby, that more or less things went well.
Things went very well. Having the best friend there was great because she helped entertain the secretary.
Yeah.
While I got to socialize and see my people that I haven't really got to see that much this year at all. So that was really great catching up with a lot of people there. And then, that was it. It was Sierra Trek. It's a great time to come up and hang out. It seems like there's more and more people showing up to Sierra Trek just to hang out for Sierra Trek rather than run the trail.
Yeah. I can see that.
Which is fine. It's a great event to hang out at too. I mean, that's kind of what they're building it back for, is that it's not just go run Fordyce. It's come up and hang out at Meadow Lake and Summit City.
Yeah.
For a week.
Cool.
So, we'll see how it goes next year. I also had some work done on the 4Runner.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've been talking a lot about my overheating.
Yes.
And how I'm 99% sure it's just down to airflow through the radiator. Correct. And the condenser, the AC condenser. So I took the 4Runner over to Dave Pfeiffer, who is a magician with off-road vehicles and vehicles in general. Really good dude here, local in the Sacramento area. One of the original Sierra rock crawlers, which is the original Pirates 4x4. The Pirates kind of split off from the Sierra rock crawlers, and then they had this big competition of being owners of the Rubicon, right?
Sure.
Anyways, so Dave's a magician, and I took it to him. We've been talking back and forth about this problem a lot, and I was like, you know what? The electric fan did good while crawling, but bad on the road. The mechanical fan does good on the road, bad while crawling. So we're 100% sure, 99% sure it's just airflow issue and directing that airflow. So we needed to build a custom shroud was the next step for the mechanical fan in order to try that out. And we need to build a custom one because I'm using a 3.0 engine radiator with a 3.4 engine. And the engine is not in the stock location anyways.
It's farther back
away
from the radiator.
Yep. And so the 3.4 fan shroud does not work because I didn't realize the 3.4 radiator is a lot bigger than the 3.0 radiator.
Yeah, you said
I just always assumed they were about the same size, but they are very much bigger at very different sizes.
Okay.
So I got the shroud for the 3.4 and I'm like, there's no way I can fit this on the 3.0 radiator.
Right.
So now I'm not sure, how do I take this clusterfuck of a setup and get them mishmashed together? And the answer is a custom shroud. So I took him my electric fan, the shroud for my electric fan and my 3.4 shroud to him with the rig and said, here's what I have.
Solve this.
Figure out how way to solve this, right? I have a problem. You can solve it. I've heard.
That's a song.
I know. It's a Vanilla Ice thing. If you got a problem, you all solve it. Check out my hook on with DJ Revolves. Anyway. So what he did was he took my electric fan off of the fan shroud and then he rolled some aluminum. It was about, 4-inch wide aluminum strip.
Okay.
He rolled it to be, I think, 2 inches bigger diameter than my mechanical fan. And then he attached it to my electric fan shroud in the correct spot for the fan, where the fan was. But my fan is bigger in diameter than the radiator is wide.
Well, that makes sense since the radiator that's designed for that engine or that fan is a lot bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had to make backing plates to close off the holes where the rolled piece of fan to go the fan shroud to go over the
extended beyond the radiator. Yeah. Okay.
It's wider than the radiator is. So he had to kind of plug those holes. He plugged the holes that I put into the shroud for more airflow through the radiator with the electric fan. And then kind of put it all together. And he goes, all right. So I've been letting it run in my driveway for about an hour now. And the temperature has not gone over 140 degrees.
Okay.
And I was like, wow. I mean, idling without the shroud, I was 185 to 190.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, that's a 50 degree difference better than what it was before. I think we may have solved the problem. And he goes, okay, cool. So I need to go stress the engine out and see if that is the fix. And he said, if it is, he goes, this is a prototype fan shroud. It's just cobbling shit together to see if we can direct the airflow to make sure to see if the airflow is 100% our problem. It seems like it is. I've been running it around for the past 2 days, trying to go as fast as I can on the freeway, rev the engines a lot around the surface streets.
Is that why you drove second gear all the way to lunch?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it makes sense.
And the temperature isn't going over 195 now with the air conditioning on. So it's already 20 degrees while running difference.
Yeah. That's great.
So I think we've solved the problem, but I'm going to go out wheeling this weekend on a day trip, and turns out the tacos on the Rubicon is happening with George. And so I think I'm going to go out and kind of run into Buck with some people from that group. They're going to continue on to the Springs, and I'll come back out.
Cool.
So I'm going to try to do that as a day trip to kind of just test everything, see how it's working. The other big thing I had done, which I'm really excited about, is I finally finished my axles.
Yeah, right. Woo!
Yeah.
How long has it been now?
Maybe in a year.
Yeah.
I think it's been about a year since I've had the axles under the vehicle.
Okay. So what did you do to actually button up the completion of those axles?
Dave installed my parking brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How nice of him.
He's a super good guy. So yeah, the Willwood, I set up the axles as using the Willwood electric caliper parking brakes.
Right. Yeah.
And the big reason for that is because I didn't want to have to worry about routing a parking brake cable the way your typical mechanical brakes work.
Yes.
I didn't want to have to worry about routing one. I didn't have to try and find one that worked the way I wanted. I knew that the electric parking brakes worked the way I want them to. It was just a matter of, are they really going to work well enough
and
to hold on to a crawler?
What do you think?
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They are amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
I highly recommend, if anybody's looking to put some good parking brakes on their vehicle, this is a great option for it.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yes.
I think it was $1,300 just for the parts, the setup of it, plus install. Dave hasn't charged me yet, so I don't know how much the labor is going to be on it. But each caliper clamps down with 2,500 PSI.
Holy cow.
Pounds per square inch.
And the pads aren't that big.
And the pads they're like a Subaru parking brake pad. Like it's slightly
probably
bigger than a silver dollar.
You think? I was going to say it's like 1x2. So it's 2 square inches. So it's 5,000 pounds onto that disc.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I don't know. Is 5,000 pounds enough to hold the vehicle while I'm winching stuff, or hold the vehicle if I need it as a parking brake in the middle of a hill or something, or how well is it really going to hold the vehicle?
Well, your vehicle probably weighs about 6. I think trail loaded 55, maybe close to 6. So one brake will hold the equivalent weight, and you put 2 on. So I'm going to go with, it should be able to hold it. But probably not through low. I would assume the amount of torque with low, it will still be able to push through it. Yeah.
So that's exactly what it is. The 228, it kills just in the 228 gear transfer case, kills the engine right away. It won't budge. In the 4.7, it tries to go, but it doesn't release, doesn't slip, and it kills the engine.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
In double low, it pulls and makes a bad noise. Because that pad is holding with such force that when it breaks the traction on the pad, it just makes a loud clanking noise of that pad moving on the rotor.
Oh,
yeah. So I don't know. I haven't looked to see if the parking brake on and moving the vehicle in double low, 240 to 1, gear ratio if it's like marring my rotor. Because that's what it sounds like it's doing. So I'm like, okay. But it's still enough where it's, if you start releasing the clutch in the double low, you can tell there's something going on. The vehicle does not want to move.
Right.
So it's enough to quickly be like, oh, that's right.
The mental.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Gotcha.
But it's very impressive. The way that the system works is it runs and you can only turn on or off the parking brakes using if the key is on, either ignition accessories or on.
Okay. Or the engine's on. Right.
And engine's on.
Yeah.
So if somebody gets in the car and tries to steal it by hot wiring it or something, they're not going to be able to move the vehicle.
That's cool.
Yeah. So they have to have the key to the vehicle in order to do it, or know that they need to engage the ignition circuit of the vehicle or the accessory circuit of the vehicle.
That's pretty neat. Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm very happy with these parking brakes. I'm super excited to have them because now I don't have to put a rock under my tires when I air up after the end of each trip.
Yeah.
I don't have to shut off the vehicle for winching. I don't have to be in the vehicle when I'm winching, which is going to be a big benefit. I do not like being in a vehicle, around a vehicle while I'm winching.
Right. I get that.
And so one of the big reasons why I went with the super winch for the winches is because they come with a Bluetooth or wireless controller. That way I can be away from the vehicle, but you can't do that unless you have a parking brake because you need to have the vehicle running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm excited to be able to now winch safely and not have to worry about something coming through the windshield at me in recovery situations.
Totally. I get it. That's great.
Yeah. Very happy with the parking brakes. And so far, very happy with the new shroud.
Yeah.
And then I think we also found why my transfer cases are leaking.
Oh.
Well, gear oil.
Okay.
I've been certain that it was the RTV of sealing the cases, right?
Sure.
Turns out, so he got some dye, put it in the transfer cases, and oil is flying out of the shifters.
Wow. Okay.
Even though I've RTV'd the shifters, and gasketed the shifters and I've redone the shifter sealing like 3 or 4 times. It's coming up from where the shifters go through the metal plate, not the sealing gasket surface of the shifters.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
I follow what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's not much of an opening there, but
it's apparently enough.
Enough. Yeah.
So that's where I'm leaking. So I'm like, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. It means I didn't fuck up too bad when putting all my transfer cases back together.
My question is, are you overfilling your T cases?
I fill them to the fill plug.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I don't fill my T cases through the shifters. I fill them through the fill plug. So I don't know. But anyways, that's good news because it means I just need new shifters that have the seals in the actual shift levers that are good.
Yeah.
So he said there's also way more play, that my shifter bushings are all gone. They're shot. The shifters should not be wiggling around that much.
Okay.
So he's ordering up new shifters. Once they come in, we'll put them in.
Sweet.
And I think that'll solve my gear oil leaking issue as well.
Yeah, that'll be good too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, some good stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Can I talk really quick about the Olympics?
Are you going to talk about Australian breakdancing?
No.
Did you see that?
Yes, I missed it. No, I didn't see it.
Everybody go Google Australian breakdancer Olympics.
Okay.
That's all you need. It's amazing.
All right.
It's magical.
I will have to do that.
Yeah. What about the Olympics, Jimmy?
I love the Olympics.
Okay.
I love watching it.
You love setting records.
That too.
That's okay. So it's more than just setting records.
I love setting records. I love sports. I love the Olympics. I love the world coming together and uniting and having a friendly-esque competition.
Yeah. Okay.
The first thing I want to say is, I'll just go out and say it. I won a bronze medal.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
How so?
One of the young boys that I coached when I was a swim coach won a bronze medal.
No shit.
In water polo.
No way.
In this Olympics.
That's rad.
Yeah, super cool. So I'm super stoked about that. And one of the coaches for the water polo team, I grew up swimming with my entire life.
No shit.
Yeah. So, and it was funny because they don't know each other. I know both of them. And I was like, hey, Matt, I'm super excited that you're a coach for the water polo team. Congratulations for being selected. Good luck. Please say hi to Alex for me. Okay. And he was like, he messaged me. He's like, how do you know Alex? Like, and I was like, well, I coached him back in the day. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Super, super proud of our U.S. water polo team. Yeah. Got bronze at the Olympics. Rad. I'm super happy for the community and all those guys. So super cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next thing I want to say might be controversial.
Okay.
There's some sports in the Olympics that I don't think should be in the Olympics.
I 100% agree.
Right. And
breakdancing?
I disagree. I think I don't know enough about breakdancing to say it should or should not be. But I think individual person sports should be in the Olympics.
Okay.
Most team sports have their own like
league
best of the best thing.
Okay.
Like soccer. Right? Soccer has the World Cup.
The World Cup, the Premier League.
Well, we have the World Cup is like all the world, each team in the world comes together and competes for the World Cup. And I understand that, like in the Olympics, they no longer let those people play because they're like professionals. And it's in the Olympics, I believe it's the U17 is the people playing for soccer in the Olympics for the men.
Okay.
Right. And then all like the professional soccer players really don't go on to that unless they're probably under U17. They just stay for the World Cup. But like basketball, like we had like places all around the world play basketball, obviously. But the best of the best in the world come to the United States to play in the NBA, and the NBA has their championship.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I don't think basketball should be in
an Olympic sport.
In the Olympic sport.
But isn't there something about, I mean, if you come to say the United States to play the NBA with a dream goal in your life of playing the NBA finals, isn't there something about playing for your country and playing with other people that are for your country and having this competition to see who's the best country in this sport? Like, I think the World Cup is different because it actually is that.
Yeah. But the basketball
isn't, baseball isn't, football isn't.
No, football's not in the Olympics.
True. But, I mean, there's
like rugby has their own rugby World Cup too.
Yeah, true.
Right. And who wins? New Zealand, right?
New Zealand, All Blacks.
All Blacks, or, and then the women, I don't even actually, to be honest, I don't know if there's a women's World Cup for rugby.
Yeah, good question. I don't know.
There's definitely their own leagues there. And that, U.S. Women's soccer, there is a women's World Cup like that, let the best of the best do that. They don't have them necessarily. We don't need that sport in the Olympics because if you want to watch the best of the best, watch that series, not the Olympic version.
Yeah, I still feel like there's a difference between the Olympics and professional sports.
Well, maybe professional sports, but like soccer's World Cup.
Yeah.
Right. That is countries going to battle.
Okay.
In soccer.
Okay.
Right. Like it's the United States versus Brazil or, Italy versus France.
Okay.
Right. So why also put that in the Olympics?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah.
Right. Maybe
tennis is the same way. I mean, tennis
is semi-individual sport.
Yeah.
Like there's a team sport, like where you have two people on there.
Yeah.
But it's more individual than us.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's lots of game, like you can play at Wimbledon or you play at the US Open or you play at this or that. It's not necessarily like, I mean, it is the best usually come together as a professional level, but I think that, as an individual side, I think that's still in my eyes, it's still a yes on Olympic sport.
See, interesting. See, for me, for tennis, and that's just because I was ingrained in tennis for a big chunk of my life. watching the Olympics to me in tennis is no different from watching one of the Grand Slams.
Sure.
Wimbledon, Australian Open, US Open, French Open.
Yeah. But what about the teamed?
There is no team aspect to it in the Olympics, though.
There's no two-person?
The doubles?
Doubles.
It's all done the exact same as the Grand Slams. So
you don't have to be from the same country.
I guess in doubles you do. In the Olympics.
Yes.
No, that's a fair point. But a lot of times people on the professional circuit in tennis, a lot of times their doubles partners are from the same country because a lot of times they've grown up together playing tennis.
Okay.
And they end up playing tennis on a professional level because they know each other very well and they know each other's games. They mesh very well on the court, right? That's not always true, but a lot of the times you'll see doubles partners in tennis from the same country.
Sure.
So I don't know, the individual side of it, like definitely like in singles, definitely it's the same thing as watching a Grand Slam. There's no difference. I don't know why we need the Olympics too for tennis.
Right. And that's sort of where I'm going. It's like if there's a higher like level for that individual sport, like it shouldn't be in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like I understand that probably that person, like, these tennis players probably want an Olympic medal. Like there's that level of it, right? Like, they want to say that they were the best in the world in the Olympics and they want to say they won the US Open.
Yeah.
Like, okay, got it. But like gymnastics, there's no world competition for gymnastics. Diving, there's no world competition for diving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Synchronized
that's
swimming.
Cool. There's no, as much as that is a team sport, there's, to my knowledge, there's no other world competition for it.
Yeah.
So let's get those together and let's actually have the world competition.
Yeah.
I get that. That's cool. But when it's, US football, the world of football, aka soccer, or tennis or rugby, when they all have these other already world competitions, like let them have their world competition. We don't need it in the Olympics also.
Yeah. That's a good point. Or get rid of the world competitions and only have the Olympics.
Yes.
One or the other.
Yeah. Now that comes down to who wants to make the money. I fully get it. But
okay, that's a fair
as
point.
For individual sides of things, yes, I'm all like, I love it. Like track and field. There's no world competition for track and field.
No.
Like getting like the 100-meter race, dash against everybody in the world, like that's awesome. Like that, one of the coolest things ever. Like I love watching the world come together for an event like this. Like it is fantastic, and I absolutely love the Olympics. I just think that it's getting a little blown out of proportion for letting a bunch of stuff in.
I agree with that sentiment. I don't know if I truly agree. I can see your viewpoint. I don't know if I truly agree with the bigger world stuff, but I think that there's definitely some events that I'm like, why this is not a sport. Like in my opinion, maybe you need to make a difference between Olympic sports and Olympic, I don't know, events. Maybe, I don't know what it is. Cause like, I don't view, tumbling and a lot of gymnastics as sports.
Sure.
I think that they are amazing displays of what the human body is capable of and what humans are capable of.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a sport you can compete in. And here's why. Okay. Because it's being judged. There's no scoring system for that is 100% non-dependent on humans to score.
Sure. I get that.
Does that make sense?
Well, I do. Yes, it makes sense. Where like basketball, it comes down to the players playing the game.
It comes down to how many times a ball goes through a hoop.
Yes.
There's no way to judge that. You just count how many times it happens.
Yeah, it does. It's not about how fancy and finesse the person shooting was.
Exactly. Right? Yes. You get bonus points because you did a little flare on your layup. I don't know.
I understand that, but I also think that's part of that competition.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm having problems with. Maybe we need to make a separate Olympic sports versus Olympic competitions.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Cause like I have no interest in watching competitions.
Yeah.
Like because I'm like
horse jumping.
Yeah. Horse jumping. And I don't know why is somebody judging them on how good the horse looked while it jumped? Who gives a shit? I want to know if that horse jumped how high and how many times it did it, how fast it did it.
That's pretty much what it's judged on. But
okay,
but but I think I don't know enough about horsing or horse jumping, but I think there is an aspect of how smooth they jumped as well.
Interesting. Like figure skating.
Yeah.
Like, why? That's not a sport. That's not something that, in my opinion, can have a clear-cut winner, because you can argue about the judgment of the results.
And it happens.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas like something like the luge, there's no arguing. Somebody hit a time.
Yeah.
You cannot argue the time that they hit.
Right.
So I think stuff like that should be considered sports, and the other stuff can just be like competitions or something. And
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. See that, but I don't know. I mean,
we're just trying to get everyone riled up.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that, but I think that I think the getting the world together for individual competitions is where it should be. Okay. Not necessarily getting or competitions that don't happen in the world base already. Mm-hmm. That's what I think the Olympics should really be about. Mm-hmm. Right. It's like the gymnasts don't have a world competition.
Very true. Yeah.
So let's get them together and actually do it.
The speed walkers don't have one.
Yeah. That's another weird one. Yeah.
Speed walking. That drives me.
The mini assistant saw some synchronized swimming. Uh-huh. And then I told her that they're not touching the ground.
Oh, because she was only seeing it from above?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And she's like, what?
What?
And then they panned back and showed one of those split views where through glass or whatever. Uh-huh. Yeah. She's like, holy cow, like mind blown. Like, how are they doing this? Uh-huh. You know, like, I'm like, I've been a swimmer my entire life and I don't know how they do it.
No, synchronized swimming is one of the things that I'm like, I will never do that because I will die and drown. Yeah, trying any of it.
They can hold their breath for so freaking long and lift somebody out of the water at the same time. I'm like, yeah, no, I barely can make a lap in a pool.
Yeah. Like, oh man. Yeah. That's funny.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave it there. If you agree or disagree with me, feel free to call in.
Call in.
We've got a lot of controversial things in this episode. We're going to get a ton of love and hate mail, I'm sure. But you can ring in, be a part of our snail mail episodes that happen every Friday, 916-345-4744. But don't stop driving right now, because all that those numbers are in the show notes, as long as also with our emails, Jimmy or Tyler at SnailTrail4x4. And another way you can get a hold of us is through Instagram. I'm over at SnailTrail4x4. Tyler's over at 4x4 Toyota Tyler.
Sweet. I like it a lot. I guess with that, Jimmy, any final words to close out the episode for everybody out there?
Where is rock crawling in the Olympics?
Oh, that's what we really need. And with that, would it be judged, or would there be...
Well, We Rocks.
We Rocks. Take We Rocks to the Olympics. All right, let's start going for it. Rich, we're going to give you a call. And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
I love when you say those words.
What do snowmen wear on their heads?
Beanies? Toques. I'm going to go toques. Toques for $100, Alex.
Ice caps.
Ah, yeah, that's a good one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not bad.
That's what people are going to wear in my freezer bar businesses.
I'm still excited for that whenever that happens.
That's, I think, what I'm going to do next. After I sell Morphle, I'm going to open up freezer bars.
Do it.
A freezer bar conglomerate. A freezer bar franchise. That'd be fun.
Yeah.